Okay, so now we're going to look, we're still on example 1, but we're now looking at part B and C. So part B and C carry on from part A that we have just done. So that's why it is imperative that we really nail part A and get really comfortable in doing it, because your answer from part A comes through to part B. So what part B is asking you to do is to look at the subsidiary balances. Now, if you remember, the subsidiary is as if you expanded the control account out. So this is what makes up the control account. And if you think back to when we did this in the previous unit, if you did anything in the control account, you also did it in the subsidiary. So theoretically, the two should always balance. However, in this exam, they're not going to. So what you've got here is you have just prepared the control account. So that's the one that we've just done. And we've said that this control account now has a balance of £34,918. And we are going to compare that against what the subsidiary balances say. So what you can see here is you've got a little reconciliation box. So the first line says purchase ledger control account balance as at the 1st of December. Well, that's what we've just calculated here. So we can pop that into there, that we think that the control account equals £34,918. Now it asks us what's the total of the subsidiary ledger. Okay, and be careful, because can you see here, some of these have got credit balances, some have got debit. Okay, so don't forget, this is suppliers. So a credit balance would mean that we owe the supplier. This would mean they owe us, because don't forget, owe, credit, liability. Okay, so if I was to add them up in my calculator then, so I owe £20,876. I owe £9,321. I owe £3,243. Okay. However, I am owed, so minus £325 by that supplier, and I am owed £1,153 from the other, so minus 1153. So my subsidiary, the total of the subsidiary is 31962. So the difference, so if I do that in my calculator, minus 34918, the difference is 2956. Okay, because I've took one away from the other. So we need to look now and say, well, is my control account bigger or is my subsidiary bigger? Which one? So in this one, the control account is bigger than the subsidiary. So either something's been put in the control account that shouldn't have been, or maybe it's been put on the wrong side, or something is amiss in my subsidiary ledger. Now, personally for me, you would expect all of these balances to be credits, because this is a purchase ledger, which is should be credit because it's a liability, us owing money to suppliers. So the first thing I would check is if I added up the two items, which are debit balances, so 325 add 1153, that gives me 1478. If they are on the wrong side of a T account, that would actually affect the T account twice. So if I was to times that by 2, that would give me the 2956. Okay, so the reason for the difference may be that Barker and Co. and Interior Moods should be credit balances. Okay. I just want to illustrate to you why it affects something twice. So if I was to draw a little T account here, and I've got my 325 on the debit side, just as an example. So if I've got 325 on the debit side, but I think it should be on the credit side, if I was to just do this, I'll do it in a different colour. So this is my first thing that I'm doing. If I was to just do that, would you agree if you were to balance that T account now, it actually would be zero because you've got 325 on the debit side and £325 on the credit side. So if I was to do this though, put it in a second time, now if you were to balance that, you would have £325 on the credit side. Please don't get too hung up over that because we are going to be looking a lot more at errors and corrections in a future lesson. But I just wanted you to see why it would affect it twice, because the first one would just cancel it out, but the second one would actually correct it.